Hey guys, how are we? Just wanted to come at you this week with two videos. First one, which is this one, is going to be about what is your story and what is your plan in life. And so, really, I want to get real personal with you guys. You might think, who is this guy behind the video? He's some guy that has lived a perfect life and knows nothing about what I'm going through. Well, I would like to share my story for you to make a judgment on that. I'm not going to make a judgment on your life in relation to my life, but I just want you guys to some way, either small or big, relate to me with the struggles that I've gone through in life. And as I said, it's going to be real personal. Currently I'm sitting in my room recording this video, and so really my life I started to live my life in 2006, and before that was really an average Australian family. Mum, dad, brother, sister, in the same house, under the same roof, and living the Australian dream. And I was going to school, and then 2006 popped around, and my parents split up, and I didn't know how to deal with that. And so I took that unknowingness into 2007, into my first year of high school, and all that pain that had been bottled up was still bottled up, waiting to be exploded, as typical to a soft drink. When you shake it and shake it and shake it, the pressure has to come out somewhere. And so 2007, first year of high school, and there was a lot of classes that I didn't like and I hated going to, and one of them really was religion. Hated going to scripture. That was like the end of the world for me. It was like hell on earth. And always used to call the teacher certain names, maybe like Biatch was probably the nicest one I called her. Always used to make her cry. Really tested her faith in her creator. And so got in a lot of trouble with the teachers and stuff like that. 2008 I moved to Queensland, Brisbane with Mum. Pretty much got a new lease on life, and I found out that location doesn't change your circumstances, it only changes your surroundings. And you can have problems in life and issues, and if you think that location will take them away, I'm sorry to say, but it won't. And over a matter of time, it started to bleed out into my life in Brisbane, and with that I started seeing the school counsellor and the school chaplain, and a school chaplain is basically a religious foundation that person has studied to help others, and we never really talked about God in them times spent together. I remember we would used to watch Budweiser, which is an American beer, ads from the Super Bowl, and just how funny them short clips were, and so Tim Sweetman was my school chaplain. Amazing man, love him to death. I miss him, and he was like, you talk about a true blown Australian guy. Tim Sweetman was the stereotypical Aussie guy. Like, he was just an all-rounder, typical Aussie. Drove around in this beautiful restored Holden Kingswood, and it was just incredible. The car, Dad would have loved it. He would have just frothed all over it. Dad was a lover of cars, and so Tim organised a Christian concert called Galvanize, and I attended that after work, and at the end of the performances and music and all that, there was a woman that was in the dance performance, and so she got up and shared her testimony and her story, and she shared that she was a refugee, came to Australia, and was on the first season of So You Think You Can Dance Australia, and that's how she became known. And later on, after coming to Australia, she started a relationship with Jesus and her Creator. And so at the end of her sharing her testimony, she created a space for people to want to know more about a relationship with Jesus. And I started asking questions, despite my hatred towards religion the year before in Newcastle. And so after that went away, and it was about a week before I came back to Newcastle. I tried to commit suicide twice, and my friends, if you're thinking or contemplating about suicide, I want you to take this. Suicide doesn't end the chances of life getting worse. Suicide eliminates the possibility of it ever getting better. If I had committed suicide and fulfilled that commitment, I would have left behind a loving mother, a loving father, a loving sister, loving grandparents, loving friends, all because I couldn't see a way out. There is a way out, my friends, when you feel unloved, when you feel unworthy, when you feel like nothing's going your way, that you're bullied left, right and center. There is a way out. And I want to get real with you right now, with the person, whoever's watching this, that is contemplating them thoughts. I just want to say that I love you just the way you are, and that you're worth more than diamonds to me, and that you are perfect. That despite what people say about you, that you're a bully, or that you're being bullied, that you're potentially again, excuse my language, a slut or a bum, a homeless person, you matter to me, that you are loved, and I love you just the way you are. And I ask for you to continue watching this video right to the end, and I pray that you stay with me, and at a solid confidentiality, please message me, and I'm more than happy to talk with you about what's going on in your life. And so after that, I moved to Newcastle, lived with Dad in Kerry Bay on a little bit of paradise right next to the lake, had our own jetty, had our own swimming pool, and we were living it up together in our caravan at the caravan park. And so in October of 2009, I was chasing what I thought was the girl of my dreams, and she went to youth group at what was called Weapon Generation, or WG, and I decided to do anything in my power to obtain this woman, obtain this girl of my dreams, and unfortunately I didn't get that girl. I soon found out that she was had her eyes set on someone else, but God had other plans in my life, and I come to a stage where I'm like, well, okay, God, like, if you're real, like, I've got nothing to lose in a relationship with you, so do something. And ever since then, I've been on the ride of my life, and 2010 wasn't really a significant year. Loved spending time with Dad, going to school, stuff like that. I hated school, but Dad was the reason why I kept going to school. And so 2011 would have to be the hardest year of my life. It's coming up to almost 5 years of losing my dad, and he passed away in 2011. And at the age of 47, thankfully, and humbly, he died in his sleep, and we found comfort in that, knowing that he died resting, he died in peace. And so that night I attended church, and once that had happened, I left school because Dad was gone. He was the only reason why I stayed in school. He pushed me to go to school. Why? Because he dropped out of school, and he didn't want his son to drop out of school, and once that happened, once Dad passed, it was easy for me. Why? Because my dad dropped out of school, and his dad dropped out of school, and so I dropped out and got an apprenticeship as a chef. That was a dream that my mother had the opportunity to take on, but she passed it down, and so I went and lived out her dream as becoming a chef, and the love of food in my life is quite evident. There's 140 kilos of evidence that I carry every day, and my mission is to lose that, to reach 100 kilos by the end of the year. And so from there, 3 months after that, my cousin passed away of a heroin overdose in King's Cross, and this was another tough time in